All right, in this lesson, we're going to talk about something called arpeggios, and they sound very fancy, but it's a very simple concept. So let's say we had our E minor chord, which I'm sure you remember, one of the first ones we learned. And when we play it as a chord, as you recall, we'll hit all of the strings at the same time. Now, an arpeggio is basically a picking technique, a picking exercise. So when I personally play an arpeggio or do any kind of real picking, as I've kind of mentioned before, I'll keep my fingers extended and I'll keep them touching something like the wood or the string to give myself some support. And so basically what we're going to do is we're just going to play every single string of the E minor chord without stopping, essentially. So let's try that again. So I went 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're playing every string, but at a slower speed, obviously. In other words, we're not doing one continuous movement. We're just taking our time. And it has a completely different sound to it now. It gives it a totally different texture. So we're going to just try out like a different couple like arpeggio patterns we can play, and you can apply this to any chord. We'll stay in E minor for a little bit, but let's say we'll just go like this. We're gonna hit every string, so I'm gonna go down, 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 up, 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 up. Now, I purposely held back on doing arpeggios in the beginning of the course because I've taught many students, and a lot of students, when they first start to do this technique, they get really hung up if a note doesn't come out. For example, you could potentially get something like this. You'll notice that third string doesn't come out right now. I'm doing that on purpose as an example. And the reason that's happening is because of the angle of one of my fingers right now. I'm intentionally letting it sit on the third string when it's not supposed to, because ideally it should be more like this. So that had to do with the angle. So that's one issue that you might run into. So you have to be careful with your angle, that you're on the tips of your fingers. Sometimes you may not just press down hard enough, like in this case. I'm doing this on purpose. I'm just not pressing down hard enough. Watch. Now I am. So those are usually the two biggest factors of why sometimes, the string doesn't come out. Sometimes when students first learn a chord, they might accidentally kind of put their finger in between the strings, like in the wood. And that's not going to work. It has to be directly on the string. So keep those three factors in mind if you get any kind of dead sounds. So again, that's why I've held off on showing you this, because a lot of times when students are having trouble with that, it's just they haven't had enough time to settle with the guitar. Sometimes you just have to practice for a while, and your hands and your muscles have to get used to the instrument and before you can really get a clean sound. So I really just wanted all of you guys to just kind of experience all the chords, try to play them, and now that we're doing the arpeggios, we can go back and we can check the sound of all of the chords. So let's do, as a fun exercise, we're going to do the E minor, the A sus, the A minor, the C, and the F. But we're going to do that picking direction of the down, 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 up, 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 up. Okay? So here we go. E minor with the left hand. Alrighty. So I'm going to do this twice. I'm going to do this once where I'm going to zoom up on my left hand. And then I'm going to do it again where I'm going to zoom up on my right hand so you can see both. So here we go. We get the E minor. The A sus. Now on the A sus, I'm going to start on the fifth string. Same with A minor. The reason I'm doing that is the fifth string is an A note, so typically we'd want to start our arpeggios on the base of the chord. Then we're going to go to C, also start this one on the fifth string, and F. Now on this one, I'm actually going to start on the fourth string. And you can see it gives these chords a really nice texture. Okay, so let's zoom up on the right hand. We're going to do this again so you can see everything that's going on with this hand. So starting with E minor, down, 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 up, up. A sus, remember we're going to start on the fifth string. A minor, same thing. C. F, fourth string. So that's just kind of a generic arpeggio. So another great one is one that's done in what we call 6/8 time or 3/4 time. That means there's going to be 3 beats per measure or per chord. So I'm going to do A minor and C with this pattern, but let me show you the pattern. The pattern, I'm going to hit the A string, then the third, the second. But when I come to the first, I'm going to come up. I'm going to come up on 2, and I'm going to come up on 3. So down on 5, down on 3, down on 2, up on 1, up on 2, up on 3, down on A, down on G, down on B, up on E, up on B, up in G. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That gives us our 6/8 time. So again, we're going to do A minor and C. I'm going to zoom up on both hands, do it twice. So here's the A minor, C. Very common arpeggio. You might even recognize that from a song. Okay, A minor, C. Let me do that again. I messed up a little bit. So down, 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 up, 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 down, down, up, 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 as you can see. So those are just 2 kind of common arpeggio patterns you can do. Just the typical all the way down, all the way up. You can be very creative. So say I had a C chord, you do all sorts of things. You can hit whatever you want, just as long as it's in time. So if your music was in 4/4 time, like 1, 2, 3, 4, you would probably want to do 8th notes, like 1 and 2 and 3. So something like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There I was just skipping around a bunch. So you see the point here is that you can be very, very, very creative. So apart from just having fun with it, you really want to just go through all of the chords you know so far, like even the new B7, for example. And just do arpeggios on them to make sure everything's okay and clear, or like on your new A chord. So really just go back through all of the courses with chords and just try them again with these arpeggios and make sure everything's nice and clear. And again, keep in mind those little factors of why some of it might not come out. It could be the angle of your fingers, pressure, and that kind of thing. So have fun with that, and God bless.